really is a personal responsibility to be a part of the conversation.
That's precisely the problem, that some of us don't have an in a public sphere.
What are the honest and real tensions? What are the gaps in truth that we need to talk about? And what are the concerns and constraints and tensions that are holding us back?
You can be very, direct and complicate your idea as you go along and express things in a streamlined, simple way that actually, when you think about it further, has more complexity to it.
If our work and our thoughts and our research is not for making humanity better or the world a better place, why are we doing it?
We think sort of in academia often ploddingly, carefully, thoughtfully, and then the news cycle's going And so how do you plug in a thoughtful process into a process that's, driving off a cliff oftentimes?
What I found is that actually things may be moving very fast, but the issues are really actually not changing or being resolved. And there's always another moment when some of our preoccupations can actually fit.
Hijacking the news in my case was in some ways about slowing down the news. I saw the photograph in the middle of the night, a photograph that a photojournalist named Brian Kelly had taken of the moment that the man drove his car into the crowd at Charlottesville. And you cannot look at this image just briefly as we kind of scroll through the world at this point. You have to stop and look at this photograph and make sense of this photograph, which will never make sense.
I feel like free speech has become kind of a dog whistle for being able to express racism and sexism and rally around kind of oppressive views and even organize around them, like what we saw with Charlottesville. One of the tensions that I'm feeling now as, first of all, a very feminist person, a queer person, and an atheist, is that I've really benefited a lot from free speech, yet now I'm in a position where I feel like free speech, when it's used as a tactic for evil and for the Klan and for neo-Nazis, might have some limits.
Is it a compromise for me to write something very short and very simple and very accessible when actually to do justice to that topic, I must address it with nuance and complexity?
Educating the population is very important. And when you write scientifically, you're dedicating your publications and your writing to very specific group, and the general public is not included in that group. I've written an op-ed in collaboration with another a Public Voices fellow in regards to the Netflix series 13 Reasons Why. There is a glorification of the character who commits suicide. The movie business or the TV business or books even portray our conditions sometimes in a way that it's not necessarily real. So it's our real responsibility to really highlight how things are in real life and in science and what science can do to help people.
So you may have to use a form you're less comfortable with in order to achieve a result. So in my world, what that looks like is I run a nonprofit. So if my goal is to get a particular policy issue out there and discussed in the middle of a battle over a particular piece of legislation, I prefer to sit and research it and think about it and talk about why, through the lens of history and W.E.B. Du Bois and Frederick Douglass and everybody else, this is important, right? I prefer to do that. But there's no time for that in the news cycle if I'm trying to pass a piece of legislation that's going for a vote in 3 days.
And I've gotten more comfortable with this sense that I do have a mission now of writing focused pieces that are meant to convey some of these ideas to lay people, to the public. And if my colleagues want to read them and enjoy them, that's wonderful, but they're not the people I need to be educating.
All of these tensions, they don't go away by naming them, but by clarifying them, we can have a little bit of maybe more intention in how we want to address them.
It's not just about learning how to write an op-ed piece and having that little momentary blip in history, but it's a leadership project. It's about how to convey that voice in any media.
This really has been a wonderful experience for me. It's very inspiring to be in the company of like-minded colleagues of diverse backgrounds, intelligent, passionate people. Being around them inspires me to do more.
We congratulate one another when we get something published, and we're kind of a group now. And it's been fun, you know, it's a lot of fun.